Trump has done this.
.com.
Good afternoon.
Hello,
Was that
Miss
too loud?
Rachel.
Oh, you kind of like, was that too loud?
No, it was
Oh,
fine.
okay.
I couldn't hear anything at all. So it wasn't too loud.
Now you can.
You woke me. Now I
I
can.
woke you. You did look kind of tired.
How are you, Miss Rachel?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, this aging thing, it tires you out.
Oh, it's exhausting.
It's perfect because,
I'm choosing not to do it.
well, we've realized that, because we've got the three pups that are no longer pups. They're 11. So they're really in dog years, basically the same age as us.
Oh my God, I
So
love that.
They say, seriously, I mean, they know two words. They know treat and they know snooze. They get up and they go right to
So
the bedroom. So we take a
funny.
snooze. All right.
Oh
we're
my
going.
God, I love it.
Well, excuse me. Welcome to Raising the Standards. Delighted to have you join us today. Couple of weeks ago, you weren't here. As it turns out, no one was here. We were scheduled. Our dear friend, Dr. John Clark from Prime Care. First of all, hello, John.
Hello.
How are
John.
I'm doing well. How are
you?
you?
Are.
You too.
He just got out of makeup. It was nice.
Yeah.
of him to come
Looking
in.
Powder
good.
my nose.
Yeah,
I got
that's
it.
true.
Looking
Yeah.
fly.
Yep.
Finding the van with the bidet was a little, but he's got a
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do with this. But we were going to do a show in the studio here, and it was No King's Day.
Which we did not.
We did not
somehow connect. Some.
I don't know if,
Talk about you can't get there from here.
Oh my God.
We Bill was going to do the show. Bill called me and said they closed Ocean. I can't cross the street, and I've got to park 8 blocks away. So I said, this isn't going to work.
I'm out.
And then
I'm headed up from the south, and Freedom is based on the freeway is a parking lot.
Yeah.
So
it was no Doc's Day and no Jock's Day.
No
Yeah.
docs, no jocks. Gotcha.
Anyway, but we're delighted that John has joined us today. We do this maybe once a year, sometimes a couple of times a year. Have you in studio? And
I
first
love it.
of all, you asked the very pertinent question of Miss Rachel. Can you call her a counselor yet?
yeah, I was wondering, are we calling you a counselor yet
No,
or no?
guys. No. It would be the
Really, am I just supposed to
improper practice of
give
laws.
up
What that would be.
larceny until you're ready?
No, I know. It's going to be a while, but it's very interesting I'm trying to enjoy the process.
I think you should.
Good luck
Trying
on
to.
that.
It's difficult. It's a little bit of a stressful process, but
We're
you know
all
what?
students
It's good.
of life. We're
It's so
students
true.
Sometime or another, you're just in a different type of
It's
learning.
so true.
Yeah, right.
It's good, and it's good to challenge your brain.
Yep, sure.
Does your
absolutely.
my brain could grow? It could keep growing and
It evolves.
absorbing more,
It-
evolve.
it-
Okay.
Yes, it learns, it evolves. I think
Okay.
you keep, and in various different ways. So yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, and
That makes me feel good.
I'm teaching this course, and I'm finding out as I'm teaching it that in fact we all are teachers and we all are students.
Absolutely.
We're all learning and teaching at the same time.
Yeah.
But for you were talking about a breathing method.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I'm.
And what is that? What was it? 648.
Oh, I'm doing the 4-7-8 breathing,
4-7.
but there's a bunch of them. I mean, there are so many, and you can do apps. You could have something guide you, but I do the 4-7-8. So you breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, and then you breathe out for 8. So it's a really slow exhale, and then you hold the oxygen in for a while. And it honestly, like a minute of
How
that, I
can
feel a
you-
lot calmer.
Wait a second. How
Yeah.
can you breathe in 4?
Oh, for 4 seconds. I'm sorry.
Okay, I thought you.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you the
Your
units.
lungs are already full.
Yeah, minutes,
You breathe in
hours.
for,
What-
it's 4 ducats,
Yeah.
4 shekels. Yeah, it's 4 shekels of breathing. Yeah, 4 seconds, and then hold for 7, and then out for 8. But they have you can do a guided thing where they'll say, all right, breathe in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 7, out, 8. It'll help you.
Well, you know, if you do scuba diving, which I do, so anxiety provoking. You're in an environment that if you actually tried to breathe, you would die unless you have this breathing apparatus with you. Anyways, can be anxiety provoking.
Absolutely.
What they teach you is that you can't hold your breath too long because then the CO2, the carbon dioxide, goes up in your system and you get this kind of CO2 fuzz going on. So they said you have to breathe regularly and deeply, but focus on exhaling.
Yeah.
Get it all out.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You say, slow breath in. What you said is like 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. Don't hold your breath because
Yeah.
then you're holding on to things. You got to go.
That makes sense.
Now, do you free dive or do you?
No, scuba. We're on
Okay.
scuba. Yeah. So we, travel, do here and there and things like that. But there's a whole physiology to it that's really interesting.
That's my mom loved scuba diving, and the only reason she stopped was because she had an issue with her ears. She had an equilibrium issue, and then she had to stop. But she tells me stories about, just finding there was one time she had a very, very cool encounter with an octopus, like a very, friend.
Sentient kind of, yes.
So it was wild. Yeah,
Right.
like unbelievable.
What was the documentary? My Best Friend, was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
my octopus teacher.
Octopus teacher.
That was
It
lovely.
is absolutely beyond belief. And
So good.
What does strike you in the middle of it says, well, who's filming this?
Yeah.
I know.
Right.
I
Does the
know.
octopus know that there's a camera crew behind him? Yeah.
That's so wild. No, it's
It
amazing.
is, and if you love eating octopus, I would suggest you not see
Don't
it.
My mom
see it.
couldn't.
The
Yeah.
lovely talented Mr. Jacoby said, I'm done. I will not.
My mom
ever
could
eat
never-
an octopus. Not after
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
No, she could never after that. She said they're too brilliant.
Yeah.
She would always tell me that. No
They
octopus.
were so smart how they get in the pot.
They're just too brilliant.
True.
Yeah. Pretty incredible.
Well, full disclosure, John Clark is my personal physician, which speaks volume on how good he is.
You're looking well.
I know.
And by the way, did you want to say something to me? What did you say to me at our last visit?
I congratulate you for losing some weight.
Exactly.
Yeah, and looking more trim and
what did I
following my advice. I'm sorry.
And what-
not just being generally healthy.
And what did I say to you?
Yeah.
I forgot
You
now.
weren't any taller.
Yeah. Ouch. Yes. Okay.
Gosh, you gave him a compliment,
I
and he
know.
returned with a little snarky.
well.
You're a little snarky,
That's
Mister.
fine.
Well,
but he has been doing well.
So,
Good.
even though we mentioned no King's Day, we're not going to talk politics today. I couldn't even say that with a straight face. Of course, we're going to talk politics
Yeah.
today, and we're going to talk about the acronym for medical lunacy, which I believe is RFK.
Yeah.
And I
We're gonna
admire
go
about
there,
you,
okay.
John. Not only are you a good friend, we're going there, and you're
All right,
you're-
yeah, let's do it.
we're going to talk about a couple of things: what to do in the Oval Office when someone faints. Did you see that whole video?
I'm so under a rock right now. I don't know what you're
okay.
talking
There was a guy-
about.
they were talking about Dr. Oz, who, by the way, is Muslim. Which people go, so,
Yeah.
well, if you're mayor of New York, that's bad news.
Yeah.
But you can be Dr. Oz. An RFK are there, and the president is behind the desk, and this guy passes out.
Oh,
in the
dear.
He
back.
sort of faints. He just slowly
faints.
kind of goes down.
Totally.
You can just see him
And a
limp.
bunch of people go around
He
him,
locked his knees.
except for the president, who just stares straight ahead.
Stoic.
But the wider shot of that is RFK just running off screen.
Oh, I didn't see
If you,
that
you got to
part.
see it.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's just
Like,
gone.
I'm out. Yeah, this whole medical thing. No,
Right.
we don't do
But-
that.
But
Interesting.
part of this, and this must have been
What did
before.
Dr. Oz do? Wait a minute.
I don't know, but he went to commercial.
Yeah.
But part of it, and I just love how these people, whether it's the MAGA people or liberals, when you make up such astoundingly wrong statistics.
Yeah.
And Dr. Oz, apparently they were working with the pharmaceutical industry about Ozempic,
Yeah.
about making it less expensive
Yeah.
and releasing it. And Dr. Oz said, well, we've checked this out with the numbers from our point of view and the numbers from the company that between now and the midterms, first of all, if you start a phrase with between now and the midterms, the American,
It won't be a political
the
statement.
American people will lose 144 billion pounds.
Oh, my God. Please.
And on the Daily Show, they said that's 400 pounds a person.
Yeah.
Now, some will lose 600, some will lose 200.
Yeah.
So it averages out. But
Wow.
it just, are there no fact checks left in the world?
Right.
Interesting.
No, it's verve. It's with
Yeah.
the kind of feel you can get out there, that kind of thing, right? Yeah.
It's amazing. So, speaking about RFK, you and I had lunch the other day, and we were talking about the AMA should be, or I have thought, was originally designed to be basically a lobbying group for doctors.
Yes.
And why isn't somebody coming out saying this guy's crazy?
Yeah. We're all thinking about that. I'm going to answer my answer to that,
Yeah,
which
your
is
opinion, yeah.
my opinion. So this is kind of a fundamental. I'm going to call it a culture clash. And the way to think about it is this: you have to understand, medicine has been founded on this thing called science for the last, I don't know, half a millennia, and I'm not exaggerating, like over 500 years. And this scientific process is involved in a scientific community, which is non-authoritarian. It is the opposite of authoritarian. So the way this party goes is that you come into the party, you BYOE, right? Bring your own evidence. I got my scientific evidence. I give it to the party, and then you expect that at the party your evidence will be treated mercilessly, extremely criticized in every last detail, in order to see if it stands up to scrutiny, if it's actually true or not.
Which, as a scientist, is something you want.
Well, yes. If you're if you're interested in truth,
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Just
Call me
let
a
me
wild
put that out there.
Call me a wild romantic.
Yeah, right.
But it would seem to me.
Well, and the reason that the scientific community does this is because if you don't do that, people get hurt. Right, bridges collapse, rockets you try to shoot to the moon blow up. I don't know, food doesn't get sterilized well, medicine doesn't work, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, so there's a lot on the line here. We're doing this in order to try to know things so that we can do things in the world for the benefit of humanity. If you don't get that right, it doesn't go well. So, and this isn't personal. But no, check your ego at the door. We don't use this. We're saying we're not going to accept anything on authority. Period. End of story. You have to show your evidence. So this has been going on for a long time, and a lot of people want to change truth and explore things, and we're constantly doing studies to try to advance truth. That's fine. So if you want to join the party, you want to come to the party and bring your own, I have my idea of what's true in the world, great. Get in line. We got a line going out the door. You probably get in eventually. Give us your evidence, and we'll submit it to the same scrutiny. So that is it, and it's the community. It is a global community that is multi-generations, been going on for a long period of time, that is ever evolving, and we accept everybody into that community, and it's the community that decides. You can't be authoritative. So here's the problem. If somebody comes in and says, I believe what is true, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to apply that in an authoritarian way, I'm going to clear out all these people who think this, I'm going to bring the people I think do that. That is so fundamentally counterproductive, conceptual to what science happens,
and fundamentally dangerous.
Well, because we all get it, and I think that the scientific community doesn't really know what to do with that. We're like, well, the science doesn't show it, and no, we have this evidence. Yeah, but your evidence doesn't show. We've already looked at that, and it doesn't. But we believe it. Well, why do you believe that? It's not. Well, we're like. So I think the scientific community is we're not really sure how to deal with this. And I think there's kind of a little bit of head in the sand, maybe this will just blow over. I don't know. So if you look at the AMA and you go on there and they have statements out there that they say, okay, it's vaccines, it doesn't cause autism, things like that. So they have the statements. What a lot of the problem with the medical community, which were kind of between science and people and whatnot, is they're not really blaring it from the mountaintops.
I was just going to say they need better PR.
Yeah.
Because certain things shouldn't be kept to yourself, particularly if you're running the medical community.
Right. And in theory, the AMA is, yes, it's about a lobby for doctors, but doctors, in theory, our whole thing is we're trying to help people, right? So in theory, it's also a lobby for people and health in the community. And I think, they're a membership community. You got to pay your dues. That's how they get things going. So I think they have to be conscious of their membership or something. So they're making statements, but they're not coming out toe-to-toe swinging with the administration at this point. And I guess that's just because we don't want to, get into it necessarily. We'll make our statements, but we're not going to, get in the ring, get our gloves on. Some people say, and this guy says that I think we should be throwing a few punches here and swinging a little bit for the benefit of not only our profession, but the benefit of the people. So yeah, let's throw a few swings, but they're not doing it.
Rachel, it must be analogous to your field with statutes, and so that there is something that you can turn to, and so that people don't make this stuff up as they go along.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you work by statutes. Well, What?
Yeah.
That's why
Well,
so-and-so v so-and-so.
It's so interpretive, though. That's what's
Yeah.
kind of tough, is that it's very interpretive. It's like, you know, there are certain things that are pretty absolute, like per se, and then there are certain things that are really variable, really interpretive. It's based on interpretation. It's really interesting, actually.
But isn't it about justice?
Totally. That's what we hope.
Isn't that the sort of the fundamental thing that, law is supposed to be about sort
Yeah.
of justice, and there's a certain truth and justice kind of to the whole thing?
Yeah, or about making the
I know
person
that's-
whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in torts, it's like all about making the plaintiff whole or the injured party.
Well, you know what's particularly frightening to me is that, and I understand how a citizen can be questionable and not necessarily trust the government because the government is filled with people and
Sure,
filled
yeah.
with people
Humans.
you don't disagree.
Imperfect.
But when you get medicine thrown into one of those categories that is by definition based on research and blind testing and understanding the situation, that's where it gets really daunting.
Well, yeah. So remember, the scientific community gets the whole thing that this is hard to try to figure out what's true, and gets that we need to really look at this and understand our biases. And I come up with a belief, and I really believe this is true, but if the science doesn't show that, I need to change. So we get that that's hard, and that's a developing process and things like that. So, and that's why I'm saying as a culture class, if you just come in and say, this is the way it is, here's our evidence, and we say, well, it's not very good evidence, but we're going to say this it is, and just shut up and do this. It's just so absolutely counter. It's like there's no humility in that. There's no openness to developing truth, discovering how I might be biased myself, and how I need to. I mean, it's just like, and it's just, what do you do with that? It's just sort of like in Germany, my wife's German. She says it's like a cow looking at a mountain. It's just like, it's just so big. You're like, I'm not sure even how to approach this problem because it just gets at such fundamental foundations of what we do. And I think that's a little bit where we are right now, at least, in the first year of this administration. I think that, it's going to, a reality tends to come back and be a reality check for you. So that stuff's going to come back.
Ask Marjorie Green.
Yeah, right?
And I didn't mean to show, well, I meant someone to attack RFK, but not to be all of a sudden medicine for liberals. But I know, in just my last words on the subject, I know that you went through, I know you were particularly personally angered by the remarks that medical industry and doctors are making money off vaccinations.
Yeah. So here's, so as I read into this, so I don't know if people knew, so there was this idea that, the vaccines are bad, so the doctors are making money, so they're willing to, glean, not pay attention to the dangers so that they can make money by giving immunizations. That was kind of, RFK said that, or implied, I think he pretty much said that. And all of us are looking around our office going, I'm sorry, we're making money on these immunizations? I thought we were losing money on this. It's like, yeah, we are losing money. But, and breaking even if we're doing well, I don't know what he's talking about, but yeah, we're doing it. But here's the thing. So if you look at RFK, he has this bias, which in my opinion is kind of this funny, it's this weird thing. He's kind of a liberal bias. So in his thing, there's these big bad companies that make bajillions of dollars that are willing to give inferior products or something like that in order to make millions, and to the detriment of the people or something like that, which is a little bit, at least in my book, maybe it's kind of a liberal leaning thing, but it's been kind of morphed into this. So he's all about.
There's probably some truth to that.
And there's some truth to that. And you can find some evidence of that happening. And I get it. But then he just somehow has been, that's been massaged into this sort of alternative reality thing where, so these immunizations, they cause all these things, which is just simply not true. So he's not willing to let go of that bias in this particular thing. And again, that's the scientific thing. It's like, you have to let go of your bias. You have biases. Everybody does. And that's fine. Some of those biases may be good, right? So some of them may not be good, and you have to examine those and be humble enough to and he won't let go. And so he keeps trying to paint whatever he sees in terms of that. He makes these crazy statements about, like, doctors making money on immunizations. We don't. I'm just saying. And also, you're just going to read it in so many of the things he does. The food industry and things like that, and how that can sort of take advantage of people. And I like RFK's kind of stuff on, we have good, healthy food and all that kind of stuff. I do that. I'm saying that every day. So those elements of that and what his sort of, opinions are, if you will, that I think are actually true and beneficial that we all agreed with. So he's this kind of funny mashup of various different ideas, but some of it just goes out the window. But the thing that I think is really hard is that when you come in, I'm going to clear out this, immunization counseling and to put in the people. It's just like, that's just not how we do things in medicine. So we invite lots of different ideas with different things, and we, try to come to a consensus as a community.
Rachel, I'm interested in putting a little bit of a face and experience in terms of working with the medical community, which when your mom was ill, you kind of were thrown into the fire pan and really immersed yourself in it. I mean, what did that teach you going through that? Did it change your views of medicine?
We it's hard. It's like my mom was in a position where she really didn't.
We should say your mom passed away from...
she had brain cancer. And so she was terminal from the go. So they told us 3 months, hopefully, and then she lasted 5 years, and 3 of those years were good. Maybe 3 of those years were good. She had a total of 4 brain surgeries, which is wild. Wow. She did a bunch of, her thought process going into it was, I'm going to do the guinea pig work, if you guys can help save me, great. If maybe I help advance, the future for others, that's great too. But it's a really, it's kind of one of those things where once you're in that medical situation, it's harsh and it's sad and it's difficult. There's really no way to make something like that okay. I remember waiting for her, every little thing that happens is harrowing because you think that everything really matters. There was a point where we didn't get her chemo. I freaked out because I thought, okay, well, we were supposed to start chemo yesterday, and that means that the world's crashing down. I was on the phone with this woman who was saying, it's your mom's kind of terminal no matter what. So let's, come on, girlfriend. Which is a good wake up call. It's like, it's a really, you're also another thing that I do not envy doctors for this, but we were studying, analyzing, interpreting every single word that the doctor would say. And then we would talk about it later. Well, did you hear the way they said that? They said this and they said that. This means this, because you're trying to give yourself any sense of comfort. And it's so difficult. It's difficult to comfort someone who's in that situation. So we were treated so well. We had a lot of good opportunities. She did a bunch of studies. She did a bunch of really cool stuff. She did a lot of immunotherapy, which is really cool. It's just in that situation for us, we were facing something that was kind of going in one direction. We got a lot of good time though, and we were really lucky, but nobody would have been able to handle that in a way that would make you feel good. Right. It was like, it's like you're handing something, hey, here's the impossible, make us feel really good about the impossible. You can't do that. It's like they did the best they could, and they were wonderful. We were up at Stanford and UCSF, and everybody was so great. My mom had a really great local neurologist. It's just, delivering that news is never going to be easy.
John, I got to believe, John, that one of the real challenges, and I know for this your field they are legion, but folks, the average person is used to the in and out experience. Says, I've got an appointment, let's get it over with. I got to do the blood work. But until you're in a situation where you're depending on a daily basis, like you were in, but. And you have the frustration, you voiced it here and you voiced it to me, is the assembly line concept that you've got to see so many patients a day, and you've got 15 minutes.
Well, and the assembly line isn't just that; it's also that we in medicine are taught this kind of generic human this is what humans are, this is what their anatomy is, this is their biochemistry, and I'm going to take this generic human sort of conceptualization and apply it to everybody I see. And those are based on large population studies where they take statistical averages and whatnot. And so there's a lot that sort of genericizes through just medical knowledge and medical practice people in this kind of, I'm saying assembly line kind of a way. Turns out that's not a patient experience. Patient experience, hey, it was happening to me, just saying, and it feels very personal. And it turns out, people aren't generic, right? People are, there's a lot of individuality. And so part of, to me, the interesting thing, also the challenge of medicine at the front lines is applying that generic knowledge in an individual way with individual people and trying to, educate, translate for this particular person all of that sort of generic knowledge to make it pertinent to them. And whenever we have time, I tell you a story about my brother who died of pancreatic cancer and when that sort of came to a head at this very kind of poignant way, similar to like your mom.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable, we have time now.
So he developed pancreatic cancer, went through a number of rounds of chemotherapy, and he was very hopeful. He was in his late 49, kind of early 50s. And his wife, he has kids. He's like, I'm beating this thing. I gotta,
Totally.
I gotta, it's like I'm halfway through my life, and I got a lot of stuff I want to do. Anyway, so he's really looking for any kind of evidence that they're saying that I can cure this.
Yeah.
Turns out pancreatic cancer is a very low cure rate just on a population basis. So at one point, though, he developed a blood clot in his leg, which is a common side effect of having cancer, is getting a blood clot in the leg. And so they had to put him on a blood thinner. And so he asked this very innocent question of the PA, of the oncologist. He said, well, how long do I have to be on the blood thinners? Well, for the rest of your life.
I know.
And that just hit him at that particular moment, and he just fell apart.
Yeah.
Because that was the whole thing. Yeah, what is that? What is the rest of my... And I have to be in a medicine for the rest of my... Like, I'm not going to get over this. I'm not going to get past this.
Yeah.
And I think she was just being medically accurate. I think in her mind was thinking, your life is not very long, just
Right.
saying. That's in her mind. And she said, you're going to be on... But suddenly that reality just came through.
Yeah.
And it hit him very humanly in individuality, but it was this generic, and it just really he just fell apart at that point.
That's the harshness of medicine that it's like nobody can fix. You can't fix that because you're dealing with reality.
Right.
And reality is real, and you can't fix that as a physician. Like my mom had a similar experience. She was in she had to take some sort of drug, and she was one of those studious people. She had read that it could be negative for your kidneys or something like that.
Right.
And I remember the doctor looked at her and said, Georgianne, don't worry about your kidneys. You're not going to live long enough for your kid. And it was honestly, and she was like, oh, like I remember just this and my uncle had the same experience. I took my uncle in at 94 and he was talking to the doctor and he goes, Doc, what about my, he was talking about taking that saw palmetto because he was worried about prostate cancer.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, Doc, what about my prostate? Blah, blah, blah. The doctor looks at him and he goes, Joe, you're 94. You probably have prostate cancer. He goes, should we check? And the doctor says, oh, no, that's not what it's going to take you.
You'll die with that.
Yes, I know. It was one of those things. It's like you have these harsh realities that are, it's like where your stomach just like, and as the caregiver or the person or the brother or the whoever, you go, okay.
Well, so on the other side of the stethoscope, we develop a little bit of a maybe black humor, a little bit of a kind of a, we get a little nerd, a little bit kind of, not lighthearted, but a little offhanded about it because it's such this huge reality.
By the way, you're preaching to the choir with that admission.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which I think can be healthy. We had a lot of black humor going on in my house. I mean, that's how you get through it.
Well, the interesting thing, if this goes in a little bit of a different direction, so interesting question. We talk about empathy in medicine and things like that. So, and they've actually done studies of empathy, general population, various different professions, lawyers, doctors, different things like that. So where do you think doctors land as far as empathy related to the general population? Are we more empathetic, about the same empathetic, or less empathetic than the general population?
If the judgments are made by the general population, I would guess less.
Yeah, because you
And
see
why?
so much.
Well, because of what we talked about,
exactly.
you see somebody for 15 minutes.
So that's part of medical education is that you have to
Yeah.
dial down your empathy and your compassion, because it's such as hyper emotional,
Totally.
overwhelming emotional, and it's like you can't function that way, and you have to dial it down. And then people say, well, my doctor wasn't really empathetic. And it's like, yeah, I get that.
Would you like if he was crying?
They would never make it. They would never make it.
I mean, burnout is already a hard, part of it. It's like you've got to manage that somehow, and it's actually kind of painful just saying to dial down your empathy. Like that's a process that doesn't feel really good. And there's consequences on the other side of that, and that's part of kind of this professional thing, is being able to function with that. So I think medicine is always in this struggle. It's like we want to be empathetic, we want to be compassionate, but boy, if we do too much of that, it's a little too overwhelming. Now we got to dial up. Oh my gosh, oh God, this is hard, right? How do I stay in that sort of middle ground?
We're talking to Dr.
really
John
hard.
Clark from Prime Care. We're going to do a little business and get back. You're listening to Raising the Standards, the Internet's finest hour.
Anywhere. I'll just have them really quick. Okay, I'm ready.
There are times when you want to be of help, but you just don't know how. Some of us have had a friend who finds themselves burdened to their absolute limit. It might be a serious physical challenge, or grief for a loved one, or they're called to be the sole caregiver for a relative. What can you do to help your friend? A 3-month or 6-month gift of My Foodsmith prepared meals could be a real godsend. Delicious, fully prepared, all organic and local, delivered twice a week. Your friend can choose 5 menu options, including keto and paleo. MyFoodsmith.com. Healthy and satisfying, easy to heat up, easy to clean up, and no shopping. A great gift for a friend in need from friends indeed. MyFoodsmith.com.
What's that?
I said you should just talk.
Oh, we can just talk. We just
should just talk.
Back with John Clark. Rachel was in the middle of her breathing experience. She was on the fourth intake.
Well, you know what? I thought the listeners might want some silence.
That's true. It's like the calming app.
They don't want to hear us talk all the time.
Buy our app, $3.99 a month. There's no sound. Really? For $3.99 a month, huh? That's great.
Can take up space.
Talking to John Clark, continuing a conversation from Prime Care. I want to talk about risk reward in just a second. But we are talking about the 15-minute idea, or the time that you have. You ever go home and in bed say, geez, I should have spent another 5 minutes with that person?
Yeah. Yes, often, because some...
It's not with me, I understand. But
I want you out of there fast.
I should have spent
I've done
10
so good with
less.
you, and you're in such good shape, and it's a quick in and out thing, because we got it dialed in. You were fine. No, and it's funny, sometimes, where that stuff comes up is in the car ride home, because there's so much coming at you, so many things, I'm multitasking, and there's these little impressions that get made on your mind. Oh, she said that, he said that, and you kind of like semi-consciously pick that up, but then we're on to all this other stuff. And then somehow you're driving home in the car, things are quieted, okay, I'm done with that, and all of a sudden this stuff comes back. And it's weird, the stuff that comes back. It's like, oh, Maria said that. I totally didn't respond to that.
Yeah.
God, I should have said that, and it was because it got lost in the hurly-burly, but that had this emotive kind of weight to it, that it took a quiet time while I'm just driving home in the car, and that's what came back, and it was like, I got to call her tomorrow. I totally missed that.
Well, it's so go too. I think you're toggling between so many different things, and you're thinking about all these different people. It's so go. I mean, I do that just yesterday I was in the conversation with this person and I said this. I wonder if they thought that, and that's about something very benign, like not I mean, you're dealing with, does this person, which is another thing too, as far as getting people. I mean, there's got to be sometimes where you're looking at the patient and you're going, okay, I know that this is a lifestyle issue. How do I encourage, motivate without like dissipating their self-confidence? How do I motivate this person to just change this lifestyle issue?
Well, sorry to interrupt, but there's also the inherent problem with the amount of time that you have, because you've got to field all the questions of, I read about this or I heard about this on the air. I read about this. Will this help me? And you're trying to get to what you need to get to.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's so multifactorial. With lifestyle stuff is a perfect example. And we had a talk on it was the last time we were here, maybe maybe one time I was on, and I think Jacoby, you asked me about like this new Surgeon General thing is saying, alcohol, any alcohol, increased risk of cancer.
Yeah.
There was this, dry January. The Surgeon General came out in January and said we should just, stop alcohol. And we had this discuss about like a huge lifestyle thing. And I said it's super complex. If you just look at cancer risk with alcohol, there is it continues to go down even into zero alcohol. So if you just say, from a cancer risk, you shouldn't drink any alcohol. Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Most people, alcohol is kind of a social lubricant. So you go out, have a beer with your boys, meet with the girls, whatever, have a glass of wine, something like that. And that facilitates this social interaction. Turns out the social interaction, this lifestyle thing, is super positive from a loneliness kind of perspective. So when you look at that on balance, you have this extremely marginal risk of the couple glasses of wine of getting cancer. You have this massive health benefit of being with friends, being out at things like that. So, and like I'll tell people, like smoking, obviously, okay, you should stop. I'm your doctor.
Totally.
From a medical perspective, you should stop. They're saying, yeah. And I tell you a story. There's a guy who came to me, I was telling him the same thing, and he's like, I got smoking when I started smoking, doc. It's like, when? It's like, well, I grew up in this little town in Arkansas. Hated it. Just small town, and I got to be 18, and I said, I'm going to go into the Army.
Yeah.
And this was like in the 40s or something like that. And so I signed up with the Army. I saw the world. I went to Europe, to France, all this kind of stuff. And there was a pack of cigarettes in every single one of my K-Brats. And I started smoking, and everybody was smoking. I looked at the movies, everybody's smoking.
Yeah.
It was stylish. It was international, everything like that. And so now when I light up a cigarette, that's where I go. That's what I get out of that.
Interesting.
And he said, and do you have a pill for that?
I know.
And I was like, sorry. And I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's a risk benefit, right? It's like, there's a risk to it. You're getting a benefit. I don't know. I'm just, you got to weigh those sorts of things. But that's kind of a benefit, right? Of that whole thing, the whole verve and stuff like that. But let's just not pretend that it's not causing a problem and things like that. And maybe we could find other ways to be, I don't know, stylish, swank, something like that.
Totally.
Maybe there's healthier ways to do that. But that's a cool thing, right? Being swank, stylish, whatever. If that's your thing and you want to do that, maybe we can find an alternative an alternative lifestyle that would help you to do those sorts of things. So you try to identify the really good thing they're getting out of that, and maybe find a replacement strategy, right? So
it's so funny because it's my mom and I used to talk about this a lot. Like, what's that? Especially like even right now, I'm in school and I get all stressed out, and it's like I have to be pretty. I have to do the best I can to be in a really as good of a mental state as I possibly can be every day, so I can study. I can't. I have to. I'm trying to get sleep. I'm trying to do all these things. But my mom and I used to talk about that all the time. Where's that magical pill or whatever it is that you can just?
There isn't
where
one.
is that
I
thing that's
promise
so
you.
healthy and so this? I mean, it's so. I was talking to a little girl the other day who she was having panic attacks. It turned out, I guess maybe the doctor said, "Are you smoking a lot of weed?" And she said, "Yeah." And the doctor said, "You should probably quit." She goes, and then all of a sudden my panic attack stopped. And I looked at her, I said, "Hey, we all want there to be this perfect drug.
right.
We do.
Right.
We all want it so bad." And it's just, I don't know. Sometimes you really do have to sit and feel your stuff.
Right.
Deal
Well, I
with,
think we all during our lifetimes had found that perfect drug, but it's the perfection is ever passing. Is the problem.
There are
It's
too many.
transient, right.
There are too many repercussions to whatever it is.
My son Kennedy just walked in. John Kennedy.
Kennedy.
This is Dr.
Hello.
John.
How are you?
John Kennedy. John Kennedy. It works out perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Is there an F in there
You're
somewhere?
just gonna have to spend all your time together. That way you can become.
There you go.
Actually, Kennedy doesn't much care for John because of him, I will live longer.
Oh
Screws
man! Oh man!
Stevie Wonder used to say, "Nothing from nothing leaves nothing." You got a question? It's like a free appointment.
Let's talk about back pain instead. How about that?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Back pain. Any advice upon sleeping better or
So my medical mind goes immediately to, okay, that's a symptom. What's the diagnosis? So what is the cause of the back pain? So many different causes of back pain, and each might be treated in a different way.
Let's make an assumption that during your day you stand too long.
Yes.
And your mattress isn't very good.
Okay.
And outside of that, how can you help?
Well, again, diagnostically speaking, what I'm hearing is perhaps what we would call myofascial pain, which would be pain generating from the muscles and the ligaments in the back that are getting strained out. Could be arthritic, right? You could have a degeneration in your spine, some arthritis, and that would cause some inflammation and pain in the joints. So let's just go with that, and not the many other things there could be. So if that's the case, we're talking about fitness. So fitness in the back.
What are you trying to say?
Planking? I think it's going to be planking.
He's insulted 2 generations.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
So basically, if you're having a lot of back pain, you're basically, your body is telling you that it's not quite up to what you're asking it to do. So that means actually, building up your strength, flexibility, and helping, because your body can adjust. Your body can, it's amazing how much the body can adjust to things, and it's basically asking us, like, we need some focus here and some help to try to do that. So that might mean some specific back exercise programs. Maybe that's losing weight so you're not offloading your back. Maybe that's changing what's happening at work when you're standing. Maybe I can stand in a different way, alter my, thing. But there's a mismatch between what you're asking the body to do and what it can, and we need to get that back in balance.
Sure. Dr. Oz has recommended I lose 400 pounds. So I'm sure you
400 pounds, yeah. That'll take care of the back pain and many other things. Like maybe life.
Yeah. Just for a moment, let's talk about. So, Dad has been remarking upon his knee pain. Have we gone over this so far?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
Oh, good. This is fantastic.
Did I hear about this?
The listeners have a chart. So.
Yeah.
He has knee pain.
So, Dad has some knee pain or leg pain in his right leg, and I used to have the same thing. And based upon what you're talking about, in terms of making the rest of yourself stronger to help what the initial problem is. It may not be that there's a problem at all, other than weakness in other parts of your body.
Sure, right. Imbalance, let's call it.
Imbalance.
There you go.
That makes sense.
For myself, I started to experience a lot of patella pain in my right leg, and I learned that stretching my hamstring, my knee was taking too much
tension,
pounding, because the hamstrings weren't stretched out enough.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, you're talking about the whole picture rather than just one.
Yeah, like a knee pain is actually a really good example, because people, there's something going on my knee. Could we look into my knee? From a medical perspective, that should better be thinking when somebody says knee pain, you're thinking not in terms of a knee. You're thinking in terms of a mechanism that extends from the hip all the way down to your ankle. And it's multifactorial. There's joints, there's cartilage, there's bones, there's ligaments, there's muscles. It's a balanced structure that's meant for a certain mechanical performance. If you're not thinking in terms of that way and more broadly around the knee, then you're missing it. So, yeah, you might find some cartilage generation, patellofemoral syndrome, super common, kind of roughening up a cartilage underneath the patella. It turns out that happens because the patella is tracking poorly in between the bones of the head of the femur, and you're adding undue pressure. That may be too much tension in the muscle, which kind of pushes it down, it kind of crams the cartilage together between the femur and the patella, but also you can get a poor tracking in where it's going and adding sort of excess stress. So part of it's stretching, part of it may be actually the quads. There's literally 4 different muscles altogether. If you get an imbalance of one muscle versus the other, then your patella tracks to one side or another. So sometimes you have to come back and work out, okay, it's the vastus medialis that's weaker relative to the vastus lateralis, and I need to do some vastus medialis training and strengthening relative to the vastus lateralis in order to realign this patella within it. And that's more muscle ligament thing. That's not joint. So again, yes, it's the joint pain is what's triggering.
First and foremost, I've always wanted to start a band called Head of the Femur.
So, yeah.
The femoral head.
New band name.
It certainly begs the question, do a lot of people get knee replacements for the wrong reason and are shocked that the pain's still there after they get a new knee?
So Yes, but the other thing is like, so what I tell my patients, like, getting a knee replacement, super easy. You're unconscious. Yeah. You wake up, you have a new knee. Done.
Amazing.
The problem is now,
triathlon?
You have your new Cadillac, joint. That's the rest of it now. You've got to come back from the muscles, the ligaments, and that's work. If your knee replacement ain't just going in and out of the hospital, you've got 4 to 6 months of rehab to come back from just to get into this joint that's now working much better than the joint before, and rebalance sort of things. So just you got work to do.
Oh, that would be so.
Wrapping up our conversation with Dr. John Clark of Prime Care. Yes, ma'am.
Supplements.
Yes.
How do you feel about supplements?
So we are what we eat. So we're a constant flow of things coming into us, and things are coming out of us. So nutrition is a huge thing.
Try to get it through food.
So you can get supplements, you can get medicines. Doctors can give you medicines and things. So that's a kind of a flow through here. Supplements are, in theory, so we have evolved. Our metabolism has evolved to be healthy in certain environments. We may, from relative to where our physiology evolved, current environments may not match that. For instance, just real quick example, our metabolism evolved basically us walking around in the African savanna, picking up nuts and leaves and things. Then occasionally there's a kill. Doesn't happen that often. Occasionally you get this big kind of calorie load, but mostly it's just like a little calorie coming in mostly, and nuts, things like that. That's what our metabolism evolved in. Translate that into now where I eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, huge calorie loads, high in fat. And it's a mismatch between. So supplements would be, I'm not getting enough of something.
Okay.
Well, why not get it through natural? Yeah. It's like what was created, what our metabolism was meant for.
We just quick announcement. We're going to save weekend liner notes. And, we'll get to that. Actually, we're going to take a couple of weeks off, but we'll get to it down the line. Quick program note. We got some folks, Josh, can't think of his last name, but he's with a group that have released some rare Sinatra vinyl that was recorded at Hollywood Bowl in 41 through 46. It's quite remarkable. I think on the 6th of December we'll do a show because it's right around Frank's birthday. Get Tom Dreesen on and talk about that. Judy Whitmore will be in on the 13th. To highlight her Christmas album, and on the 20th, I hope you're around. We'll do the holiday extravaganza.
I think the 20th I will be.
Okay,
actually,
Kennedy has one more question, and I have to say I'm glad he's here because the next time you're here, we're going to bring my daughter, who's in an iron lung. We will bring her in.
Okay,
and she had a lot of Tylenol.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead. Let's talk about supplements. So supplemental is what we're really speaking. I mean, use supplemental.
Supplemental.
Using the words of you might have a big meal and if you're on the African savanna and you haven't quite gotten enough.
Yes.
You supplement it with nuts and berries and as such. What I want to know is turmeric, for instance.
Yes.
Yeah, good
you
question.
take a lot of supplements. I mean, and I'm a huge believer in your root medicine, be it turmeric, be it ginger, XYZ. What I'm curious about is the activator account of any of those compounds. For instance, they say when you consume turmeric, you need the
black pepper,
which truly metabolizes what you're taking in. So if you're taking vitamins, be it in a bottle or in some other form, what really gives the most benefit to what you're consuming? I mean,
So we have to think in terms of food supplements versus purified supplements. Like turmeric, like if you looked at the biochemical makeup, there's probably 1,000 different substances in turmeric. So which one are we talking about? So we were talking about a collection of molecules that we're putting into our body in a way. And is the turmeric in Africa the same as turmeric in, I don't know, Middle East or something like that? So
for the record, it's still turmeric. But
turmeric. Okay, sorry. And then I don't know about the whole activation thing. It does highlight a point that this stuff naturally comes to us in an environment where we're living. This is where it evolved, where you get the food substances and all sort of comes together. And when that didn't go well, whoever was there died. And when it did go well, they tended to live. And so our metabolism evolved to match the environment we're in. So maybe like there was a place where pepper and turmeric were together and that somehow went together, but that was the secret sauce that helped this particular group. I haven't heard of this activation thing. I'd be interested in some of the biochemistry, but again, it's so complex because black pepper and turmeric together is like 1,000 different substances together, and who's activating what? You know, it's like people talk about, you know, marijuana. It's like I drink, you know, marijuana, is that, you know, good for you? It's like, well, turns out, like, if you just, you know, take a leaf, crush it down, and smoke it, you're getting like 1,000 different molecules, and there's multiple different receptors in the body for tetrahydrocannabinoids, and they're all sort of different. So you're, from a purely medical point, from a pharmacological point of view, super dirty. Like, I don't know what's going on. So medicine, I take one substance, purify one molecule, that's it. I get as absolutely pure as I possibly can, and then I give it to you. Well, now I can begin to talk about what that particularly is. Very different than supplements. Very different.
We the only thing that we can agree on, I suppose, is that agave is indeed for you.
Oh,
yes.
It's the most important
Over the
vitamin
years,
there
we
is.
have proved this. John is on the verge of going, okay.
I take it back.
It's not bad. It's all right. Anyway, and the lime has cured my scurvy.
Has it?
So,
Okay, good.
that's
See,
worked out. But the
there
high
you go.
salt is not working out real well. John Clark, always a delight, my friend, that you're here.
Oh, it's always nice to be
We
here.
appreciate that, and we'll get you in. I know you got to hear about his world traveling coming up.
yeah.
Oh, he's going to Hamburg. He's going to
good.
Africa. If there's a conference, I'll go there. Oh, Sacramento? No, I'm not available.
But that's a good way to do it.
I'm going around the world in 18 days.
That's right.
So-
The Around the World Medical Conference.
Yes.
Good. That's a good way to do it.
18 days.
That's
It.
amazing.
That takes 18 days these days to go around the world.
That's right. I was going to book passage on the one that ends in 3 years, but that's another story. No politics. Anyway,
But I'm bunch.
so thank you, folks, for joining us, and darling, it's good to see you again. You're going to
to
be
see
you're going to be around
you.
next month a little bit.
A little bit. The 20th for sure.
Okay, let's bring
Yeah.
Good luck with the breathing
Let's
and
bring
the
the,
testing and
we'll
all
do
that
the
kind of
breathing.
stuff.
Thank God. Thank you
Bringing
so
the A
much.
train in, Kennedy.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, and John, always a joy. Look forward to seeing you. John is going to be on Ranchcast with me in January with the students at Rancho Cielo.
I know, looking
you
forward to
coming
that.
out. You think we've got some strange questions?
Okay, well, I'm ready.
As always, this show has been for Mark, for Georgianne, and for you. Until Saturday soon, probably the first week of December, when we once again raise the standards. I'm Jacoby. I'll see you soon.
Hurry, 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 take the A-train to get to Sugar Hill way up in Harlem. If you should take the A-train, you get to where you're going in a hurry. Hurry, 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 now it's coming. Can't you hear the rails are humming? Leota, if you should miss the A train,